Hi guys, it's Arsh Ellahi and welcome to tonight's session. Before we get started, as I always do, I'd like you to just do a quick hello. Let me know that you can hear me nice and loudly and clearly, please. That would be fantastic. And I'll start sharing my screen with you. So whilst I'm waiting for you just to say a quick hello, tonight what I'm going to be talking about is how to find deals in a booming market. And I've been saying this all year that I thought that 2021 was the year of opportunity. So if you can, what I'd like you to do, if possible, from the outset, is just tell me a little bit about who you are. So where you're from and what your current experience is, if that's okay. So it gives me a good idea as to where I really need to take this session and how in depth, or do I need to start from the beginning? Do I need to, kind of go a little bit more advanced with what we're going to be covering tonight? Please let me know. So let me know. So just say, my name is Mike. I'm from Portsmouth. Let's just say I've got 5 HMOs. I'm looking to build my portfolio. Someone may say that I'm complete newbie to property and I'm looking to get started with a strategy that can allow me to generate some cash flow. Just something along those lines. So it gives me an idea as to who we've got in the room. Whilst you're doing that, I just want to say a quick thank you because appreciate it's a Sunday evening. I appreciate there's lots of things that you can be doing, but you're going to be spending the next 90 minutes with me. I appreciate that time is a precious commodity, and what I'm aiming to do is give you the best possible value, and so that this 90 minutes will be the best investment that you would have made. So just quickly looking at some of the responses that are coming in. So someone says that I'm from Coventry, currently do not have any investment properties, but looking to get started. Okay. So experienced HMO landlord, just finishing refurbishment of my one of my HMOs, complete beginner, 16 buy-to-lets. Wow. Okay. So we've got 2 buy-to-lets, looking for more. Manchester for find investors, sell deals, investors time, got 3. Okay. So who can start my portfolio? So we've got a real mix of people on here, and I love the diversity of it. So people looking to build a rent-to-rent portfolio. So someone from Yorkshire, complete novice newbie, that's fine. Landlord of 3 properties, beginning the rent-to-rent. So we've got Ruth. Hello, Ruth. How are you? We've got Jason from Bournemouth. Okay, and then we've got Andy from the Wirral. Okay, so we've got lots and lots of people. So I know where we're going to take this. Okay, so let's get moving on. Wow. Right, so in 90 minutes, I've broken this session so that you can break it down into 3 simple steps. So the first is that you're going to learn about the 3-step deal trading process that I've been using for the last 20 years. Second step is how to use my simple 3-step system to find and trade at least 1 deal every month and create a deal sourcing business on part-time hours. Now that's a big claim. I'm going to be showing you how it can be done. And then finally, the different types of deals that you must source to open a wealth of opportunity. So why should you listen to me? I appreciate there's lots of people in the property space. So I appreciate there's lots of people talking in the property space. So what makes me any difference? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say that I'm a property investor. I still invest in property. I'm still buying properties. I've got over 1,000 tenants myself. So that kind of gives me a bit of authority, which means that shows that I've been doing, not only am I talking about it, but I'm definitely doing it. So first and foremost, I am a property investor. I've also been a featured columnist in quite a few publications. So I write in Your Property Network. I write in the HMO magazine. I'm due to start writing in a magazine called Blue Bricks. I've been featured on Channel 4 under Britain's Benefit Talents. I've been runner-up for Entrepreneur of the Year in the British Muslim Awards. I've been runner-up in Natural Awards in 2018, and I'm a regular speaker at networking events across the country. Not to mention, I wrote a book called Boom Bust and Back Again, and as the title suggests, property's never always been easy. I've seen some really good times. I've also seen some really bad times on the brink of bust. I'm back again to tell the tale. So you could say that I'm a property veteran. I've been doing it for 20+ years. So I'm not one of these people that have learned a strategy last week or last month, and I'm now trying to source or sell the secrets off the back of that. I have been doing this for 20+ years. I'm a property investment trainer, and I'm a mentor that's helped hundreds of people achieve financial freedom. Now, one of my what I say one of my proudest moments is that I'm the founder of the UK's first property investment marketplace mobile app called the Property Investor app. If you have or if you haven't heard of it, please let me know in the session. So what the Property Investor app, what easiest way that I can describe it is I've created what I would consider the right move for property investment deals. Now, there's nowhere else in the marketplace where you can see deals like rent-to-rent deals, below market values deals, service accommodation deals, lease option deals, and we've created that with the Property Investor app. So this was my vision just over 2.5 years ago. It was launched 2.5 years ago. We've now got over 35,000 users and it's growing daily. If you haven't already joined the Property Investor app, go and do so. You can either go to our website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk, or you can go to the App Store on your mobile phone and search for Property Investor. Finally, in lockdown last year, I released a podcast. It's called The Property Rebel, and my slogan is I do not conform to the property norm, and I'm hoping that this really comes across in tonight's session. So I release a new podcast every Tuesday at 6 a.m. and again, it's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, just to name a few. Now, let's get straight into it because I know that there's quite a few people here. So Bu says, fantastic app. Thank you, Bu. Really appreciate the feedback. So what is deal trading? Now, deal trading is, to simplify, I'm quite an easy and simple person. I consider deal trading for us to be almost like a glorified estate agents. What we are an estate agency exclusively for property investors, where you may help homeowners and vendors or landlords who have been let down by estate agents because their house hasn't sold. And this could be due to a variety of reasons. And you sell the deal onto a property investor that wants to build a portfolio. And I'm going to try and break this down for you. And I'm going to give you the reasons why I really like deal sourcing. And I'm going to give you the pros and cons so you can kind of make a decision as to whether deal sourcing is right for you or not. Now, the reason why I love deal sourcing, first and foremost, is because I get to see all the best deals first. And you as a property investor, if you have the ability to see deals before they go to the likes of an auction or before they go to an estate agent, etc., wouldn't you like to be in that position? Wouldn't you like to be the person that sees the deal first? It's almost like being in a one-horse race. You're almost going to be in the position where you get the best deals. As well as that, as deal trading, because you don't own the property and you're not having to deal with the management, the maintenance, that means that you don't have to deal with tenants, no letting agencies, no maintenance, no mortgage companies, no surveyors, no Article 4, no HMO licensing. You're not owning the property. So you don't have to conform to the red tape of HMO officers, HMO regulations, planning, building regs. No finance is required, no late rent payments to deal with, no serving Section 8 and Section 21s, no attending courts. Now, I know that on this session, we've seen some people that have got some properties, and there is a chance that, let's face it, when you own a property, you are going to, at some point, come across issues where you've got issues with maintenance, issues with tenants, issues with regulation. And there's, unless you've had a completely perfect ride, which doesn't exist, by the way, you will at some point come across these issues. Whereas with deal trading, you don't have any of these issues because you are very simply a case of facilitating the sale of a property. And the good thing with this business is that you can start it and stop it at any time. And I call this a lifestyle business. So in this little slide in front of us here, let's have a look at the traditional model. I've said this, and people, trainers all over the country, treating deal sourcing like it's a new strategy. And believe it or not, it's not. It definitely is not. Think about the traditional estate agency model. You've got the vendor. The vendor contacts the estate agent and says, sell my house. The estate agent then puts it on the likes of Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market, and eventually they find a buyer, which is the purchaser. As a result, the estate agent then charges the vendor, and for those that don't know, the vendor is the seller, the homeowner, a fee of around 1%. And you guys put yourself in this position. At some point, you may have tried to sell a house, whether it be your own house, whether it be an investment property, you would approach a estate agent, let's say, you know, Connells, Reed Rains, lots of other agents out there, by the way, and you tell them to sell your property. They put it on the market and then they find you a buyer. So deal sourcing is no different, really. So I've put here cheekily at the bottom that you could say that estate agents are almost like deal sourcers, but the difference is that they charge the seller a fee, which is normally around between 1 to 2%, depending on the agency, depending on the location, depending on the value. Whereas what we tend to do, what I tend to do, I prefer to charge the buyer. Now, the reason why I do this is because if I try and charge the seller is probably going to be more inclined to deal with an estate agent. Whereas if I go to a seller and say, I'll tell you what, you don't need to pay me a fee, I'll make my money from the buyer. The owner is more than likely going to go to me and give us a run first before he puts it on with an estate agent. Does that make sense? Okay, so Jason said, I'm interested in rent to rent too. Yeah, absolutely. So the strategies that I'm going to be talking to you about today is not only about finding below market value deals, because I'm a big fan of not becoming a one-trick pony, and I'm going to be talking about becoming being a one-trick pony shortly. So the three principles of deal trading are very simple. You've got the owner, who is the vendor. You've got the sourcer, which hopefully is going to become you, and you've got the investor as the person that's going to buy the property. So there's three elements to it. Now, in order to find a good deal, you've got to understand what is the pain and the motivation of the vendor. Why are they selling? Now, just out of curiosity, what is the main reason for people wanting to sell? Does anyone have any idea? Write it in the box. You know, let's make this an interactive session. Now, you as a sourcer, you've got to ask yourself, why? How am I going to add value to this deal? Why would someone buy it? And then more importantly, the investor, you've got to sit here with two hats on. So as the sourcer and also the investor, because let's face it, you've got an interest in property too. Why would the investor buy this property off you? So think about it. What is the reason? So what's the reason for the vendor selling it? So someone's come in, well, I'm not going to name names, but financial difficulty, retirement, and so financial difficulty. Interesting. So we've got a few people saying they need to move. There's lots of different reasons coming in, and we'll go through these in a second. So why is being a property sourcer such an important skill to have? The first thing I would say is that, you know, think about it from your own portfolio. Going back to the point that I made earlier, you get to see the best deals first. So when you're looking to build a portfolio, whether your portfolio is geared around trying to find below market value opportunities, whether it's geared around trying to find rent to rent opportunities, I think one of the guys said earlier, whether you're looking to acquire a portfolio or acquire some properties with no cash or with limited capital output, as well as, you know, building that portfolio. How else would a property investor in London get to know about a great deal that you have in Manchester? And these are just examples for argument's sake. So if I'm based in Wolverhampton, and let's just imagine that Derek is based in Bournemouth. Now, if I've got a deal in, let's say, Manchester, how would he have found out about that deal? Because unless he goes searching through all the listings on Rightmove, he's never going to find that deal. And let's face it, generally, if you're looking to buy investment property, chances are that you're going to start looking locally, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's about opening the eyes, opening the investor's eye to different locations and the returns that they can generate. More importantly, as a property sourcer, you can also help estate agents who sell their hard to sell properties. Because let's face it, estate agency is very much geared around selling properties to homeowners. Whereas if they've got a property that is in need of modernisation or has got, let's say, subsidence, has got mining issues, that property won't be very attractive to people who are looking to live in the property. So therefore, they need investors. And you, as a deal sourcer, are in contact with lots of investors who are looking for properties just like this, who can take calculated risks. So therefore, estate agents need you. So investors need you, estate agents need you, And more important, how would distressed sellers be able to solve their problems without property solvers like us? And I call problem solvers like us, should I say? Because let's face it, when an estate agent, okay, let me ask you another question. Who here has sold a property through an estate agent? Has anyone sold their property through an estate agent? Please feel free to say yes or no, because it'll be interesting. So, okay, so say he says, yes, I have. When the estate agent came round, did they ask you anything about your circumstances while you're looking to sell? There's a very high chance that they won't. And the reason why they won't, because they're not interested in that. All they're interested in is the property. Whereas you, as a deal sourcer, you'll start to divulge slightly more into the reason as to why you're looking to sell, and that's where you come up with the solution. And I'll touch base on this shortly. So how much does a typical deal sell for? Now, my average deal, if I look at all the deals that I've done over the last year, the average deal has been around £4,000. So a typical house would normally sell for between £2,000 to £3,000. Lease options would only rent-to-rents, which are a niche or a specialist area, would fetch between 2 to 10,000. The average property deal is around 5,000. The average large house is between 5 to 8,000. A large HMO or commercial property could be £10,000 plus, and a plot of land could be up to £30,000 or sometimes more. Now, if you look here, there's lots of different styles of property, and we're going to touch base on this shortly. Now, I'm gonna ask a question. I didn't ask. I should have asked by the start. Where are you actually all based? And more importantly, do you believe that there are no deals in your area? No, because I'm always, when someone comes to me and says, "Arsh, I can't find any deals in my area," my answer to that is, you're simply not looking hard enough. Because there are deals in all areas. You just need to start looking at them with a different angle or with a different approach. So in a rising market, some people believe it's impossible to find B&B deals. But believe it or not, I think that you could source properties across the whole country. And you can actually trade deals that you personally haven't even seen. How is that even possible? And in a week, I trade on average around 10 deals. Out of 10 deals, I would not have seen a single one. Now, one of the things that we have to look at is your time and your ability. So, because I don't want people traveling around the country viewing all these properties, not knowing whether they're going to sell or not. So, I'll talk about that shortly. So we've got people from Leeds, we've got people from Exeter, we've got people from Wolverhampton, we've got people from all over the country, which is interesting. Now, on your screen now, you're going to see two very different images. So we've got an image of the pond and we've got an image of the sea. Now, let's just refer this back to you and your location. If you're a deal sourcer, some people want to stay local and they want to source locally, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I call this the pond approach, and the reason why I call it the pond approach is because it's limited within its ability. Whereas if you're looking for opportunities across the whole country, you've got the ability to see more than one deal. You've got the ability to do multiple deals every day, every week, and every month. So therefore, you shouldn't limit your approach to just one geographical location. Now, do you mind if I ask? Okay, so just out of curiosity, so Jason says that's basically what I've been doing. Just back from a trip to Wolverhampton yesterday. Jason, you should have said hello. Would have met you for a coffee. Anyway, so just who believes that they would struggle to source properties nationally? What is the thing that's holding you back right now? Feel free to comment in the box. Are you worried about time, that you're not going to have the ability to go and view these properties? Are you worried about the ability of not being able to appraise these properties? You're not sure what the properties look like? Because I'm going to talk you through the whole process. So Shane says, about viewing them, distance and time, no experience, no network, who to sell, no database, not sure of the area, knowing the area and property. And believe it or not, these are all genuine concerns. And thank you for commenting on that. But believe it or not, you'll get to know about all these. Not finding a good build team, lacking confidence of property and sellers, distance and appraisal, and lack of contact with the owner. These are all really interesting points that you've raised. Now, I'm going to talk about if there's no deals in your area, you're pretty much looking at it from a narrow point of view. And I say this with the best of respects, because you're probably only looking at it from one point of view. But when you source lots of different types of deals, you will never be short of opportunities. That's why I say that there are some traders, when I say traders, I'm talking about deal sourcers, deal packagers, that they struggle to find deals every month, because I consider them to be one-trick ponies that only look for below market value deals. So let me ask you a question. What do you consider a deal out of the list that you've got on the screen right now? Is it buying something that's below market value? Is it buying a property in need of renovation? Is it something that is already income producing? Is it something producing a good return on investment? ROI means return on investment. Is it something with a good potential of capital growth? Is it something that is sustainable? And I'll keep going on. Is it something that has the cash flow opportunity? Is it something that has capital appreciation ability? Is it something that has the opportunity to add value? Is it something that has refurbishment opportunity? Is it something where you can get a planning gain? Is it something where you have the opportunity to take control with little capital? Or is it something to use someone else's asset in exchange of time? Okay, so I'm looking through all the answers that's coming through. So we've got some real responses here. So some people saying all of them. Some people are saying it's only the one in need of renovation that you can add value. Some people saying it's the one that you have the cash flow opportunity. It's all of the above. Don't limit yourself. I love that answer, Ruth. All of them, any of the factors listed apart from sustainability. Now that's interesting, Derek. Why would you say sustainability is not a deal? Because let's face it, as a property investor, I think sustainability is probably the most important. And the reason why I say that is because would you want to buy a property that doesn't have sustainability? Because sustainability is the key to it. You want something that's going to be generating cash flow month after month after month, as opposed to just 1 month. I'd say, so straight away, we're coming in depending on what the investor wants. Okay, that's interesting. All of them seem to be a deal depending on what you're looking for. And that is the answer that I was looking for. All of these opportunities that are presented in front of you is what I would consider a deal. So when you start to look at a property now, you should almost like have a checklist in front of you. And you can start every property, you can look at it and think, okay, it's not below market value. So can we add value elsewhere? Could it become a HMO? Could it become a block of flats? Could we get planning permission and do something else? Could we add value somewhere else? Could we turn it from a 2-bed house to a 3-bed house? I've done that multiple times, by the way. So you turn a 2-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom house. Ultimately, you're adding value, which is increasing value. And as a result, you then sell it with its new vision. So planning gain, you get a piece of land, you get planning permission, you trade it on, or you get it with the potential. There's so many different ways to skin the cat. And that's why I say there's no need to be the one-trick pony. You look at every property and apply a strategy which works best for the owner and the purchaser. So again, going back to my tick box exercise, looking at a property and applying the best strategy. Now, if you were a property investor that only is looking for below market value deals, you're probably only going to get 1 out of every 100 deal. Or let's say, sorry, no, that's probably too high probability. Let's say 1 out of every 20. Whereas if you start to apply all the other strategies and all the other opportunities to look at that deal, you're going to start to close, between 15 to 20 of them. Now, if a vendor has got a house that's worth £100,000 and their mortgage outstanding on it is £90,000, but you're that investor that wants a 25% below market value deal, your offer is going to be within the region of £70,000 to £75,000. But if they owe £90,000 on it, can they afford to sell it you? The answer is no. So if you're the person that wants that 25% discount, you're not going to do that deal, which means that you're going to walk away from it. However, you're not doing the owner any favors. But by applying a different strategy to them, you could potentially help them and do a deal. And this is where I consider the most strategic deal sources come into play. And probably the better deal sources are able to apply strategies such as like a rent-to-rent, a lease option, an assisted sale. You can exchange and delay completion, or you could even potentially offer them the full market value if you know what to do with the property. Does it all make sense so far? Please let me know. And in order to negotiate the best deal, you need to get to the root of the problem. You need to find a solution, and there you have your deal. Now, going back to one of the questions that I asked earlier was about what is the main reason that people want to sell their property quickly? And a lot of you said financial difficulty. Believe it or not, over the last 20 years, I can honestly say that the price is not always a motivating factor. Now, I'm going to relate this back to you and your personal circumstances. Have you ever been in a position where you need to sell something quickly? And this may be a house, it may be a car, it may be another belonging of yours. And it's not because you necessarily need the money, but you need to do something else. So example could be that you're selling your car, but you've already secured or you've already put a deposit down on another car, which basically means that you become a motivated seller. And all of us don't want to be in that position of becoming a motivated seller, but the reality is that you've become a motivated seller. Or you've just seen a house that you really like, but you haven't sold your house yet. So price is not always a motivating factor. Sometimes it could be convenience. It could be lots of things like divorce. It could be marital issues. It could be upscaling. It could be downscaling. It could be emigrating. It could be financial hardship. It could be around lots of different reasons. But I've always found that price is not the motivating factor. So don't always go in and start negotiating on the price. Now, one part of the negotiations process, I talk about price right at the very end. For me, it's all about building rapport and understanding the issue, understanding the root of the problem to try and create the solution in order to find the best possible deal for all parties involved. Does that make sense? Has any light bulbs clicked on yet, or is this all quite standard or all common, quite what you would consider common sense? Has anyone picked up anything off that? Feel free to, again, write it in the box below. So finding owners, I'm going to go through a few different methods. So the first one that I talk about, and this is quite a probably one of the most, I would say, successful strategies for me is by working with tradespeople. Now, in reality, it's more so plumbers, electricians are the key ones. And the reason why I say that is, gas plumbers, when I talk about plumbers. So gas plumbers, electricians are the key one. And the reason why I do that is because these are the guys that are doing the gas safety certs and the electrical safety certs. And these are the guys that are now going around meeting all the owners, meeting all the people. And as well as that, they're the ones servicing the boilers. So they get to meet the people who are in these properties. And generally speaking, because these people are now in direct contact with landlords, tenants, and everything, they get to get an understanding of which properties for sale. You know, a landlord might be getting a gas safety certificate because they're preparing the property for sale. And I can't count the amount of deals that gas safety plumbers have bought me the deal. As a result of that, I pay them a commission for every deal that they bring us, and every deal that goes on to a successful sale. So, you know, tradespeople, whether it be, you know, electricians, gas plumbers, and again, we can extend this out to solicitors, accountants, tax advisors, you name it, anyone that is in direct contact with the vendor of a property and is actively dealing with the vendor is a person that I want to work with. Does that make sense? So the next one is, you know, very straightforward, or what I would consider very straightforward, is direct to vendor mail. So there might be lots of properties on Rightmove and Zoopla on the market, the three main portals, and you could find a property that you see there, and you could go off and get the address quite easily. Or alternatively, you could go on land registry and locate the owner's details, and you can send them a letter. Now, this is quite straightforward. This is not rocket science, but more importantly, this is quite an expensive strategy. The reason why I say it's an expensive strategy, because every letter is going to cost you around £5 per property, or £5 per lead, and there's no guarantee that the letter is going to reach the right person. There's no guarantee that the person is going to open the letter. No guarantee that that person is going to respond to your letter. So there is a bit of a risk there, whereas with this strategy, you know that these people are dealing directly with the owner, and so therefore you know that you've got a direct inroad. More importantly, you only pay the people once a deal has been done. So, but more importantly, make sure that you definitely pay them, otherwise they won't bring you any more leads. Okay, let's keep moving on. So again, another strategy is that you could send out leaflets. So here's a couple of leaflets that you see. I've just picked up a couple of these examples online. So you have to put out a lot of leaflets. So you have to litter, almost like litter areas, showing people, saying to people, I will buy your property. So again, you could target them for properties that have got boards outside their houses, so for sale boards. And because you know that these people are selling, you don't know their reason why, but hopefully your leaflet is going to perhaps make them think, oh, okay, I've been on the market 2 to 3 months, I've not had much activity, and as a result, this may prompt a call. Now, leaflets have been going around a very long time. I started leaflets back in 2002, 2003. And it really was a successful strategy. Now, the only negative with it is that you have to put out a lot of leaflets in order to get a lot of responses. So I'm going to talk to you about the source, package, and sell process. Now, going back to my point about being a one-trick pony, you don't want to have to deal, you want to be able to be in a position where you're looking at all the different opportunities. So whether it be below market value deals, full market value deals, rent to rent, lease options, assisted sales, exchange and delay completions, and planning gains. Now, Ruth has made a very valid point here. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize Ruth's. So she goes, I like working with estate agents, and one of the things that I was going to talk to you about was dealing with estate agents. I might as well comment on this now. So I work with estate agents a lot, and the reason why I work with estate agents a lot is because they have a number of property deals available, but they may not have a purchaser. And this is where you come in as the deal sourcer, and you help the estate agent by selling their property. Now, the reason why I like working with estate agents, because, you know, going back to this strategy, or going back to direct letters, if you're writing a letter to the owner, that owner is perhaps going to have 1, maybe 2 properties. And as a result, by reaching out to them, yes, you may do a deal, But after you've done that deal, when's your next deal coming along? How are you going to fill your funnel? Now, by dealing with estate agents, you're going to be able to fulfill your funnel, because you're going to be able to look at all their deals and say, okay, I can try and sell this one, I can try and sell this one, I can try and sell this one. But estate agents need your help to sell their entire properties, because in order to succeed with estate agents, first thing you need to do is tell the estate agents what you're looking for. Then you need to buy and trade the deals that you say you will, and you will watch them send you more deals. Now, I get emails from estate agents pretty much every day saying, Arsh, I've got this property, we've had it for 3 months, not really had a great deal. It could be potential for investment, or it may have investment potential. Could you send it out to your database and see if we can find a buyer? Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this now is because this is what I would consider the perfect example. So going back to my initial point where the vendor gives the property to the estate agent, if the estate agent then calls you and asks you to try and sell it to your investors, you've now got a source of leads coming through to you every week or every month. And it's not cost you a penny to generate that lead. All it's done is cost you some time to build that relationship. And off the back of that, you'll be able to make your money off the buyer, and the vendor, sorry, the estate agent still makes their money off the seller. Does that make sense? So the estate agent does not lose any commission. You make money from a property that you've not had to market, and it's just literally fallen into your lap. Now, think about you and what you're doing. If you're already too busy in your other property business, why would you want to spend a load of time on marketing if you can find deals that are literally coming to you, and all you have to do is spend perhaps 30 minutes per property on appraising it? So what I'm actually going to say is that I'll even make this process even easier for you by JVing with me. So if an estate agent brings you the deal, you find the deal, and I'll sell it for you by listing it on the Property Investor app. If you source deals through an estate agent, then in actual fact, this whole process is completely free for you, because you don't need to negotiate with the owner, and I'll sell your deal to my database in less than a day. And I would say that this really is the fastest and easiest way to make property cash flow. So I'm going to talk to you about a young gentleman, a chap called Craig Webb. Now, Craig approached me approximately a month ago, and he said, Arsh, I really want some help with some deal sourcing. Can you point me in the right direction? And I arranged to have a 1-hour consultation with him to see if I could point him in the directions. And I also tried and understood where he was going wrong with his journey. So he goes, we had a good chat, and he told me where I had done well and where I could do better. And after the chat, I realised that I'd made lots of money on deals, but I have found that I didn't want them as they didn't meet my requirements. He showed me how to look at it from a different angle and how we can make money from it. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because you should be in a position where you should be able to monetize every lead. And I'm a big fan of that. So if you go back to what I said at the start, I like to see all the deals first. I like to look at it from a point of view, is this something that I will buy myself? Is this something that will meet my requirements as a property investor? If so, great. If it's not, can I add value somewhere and add it and sell it to one of my property investors? So Craig came along and he did a bit of training with me, and I said to him that I was not going to mess about with him. When I say mess about with him, he came and done a full day's training with me in the office, and he said, I can honestly say I wish I'd done it years ago. I learned more in that one day than I've ever learned from anyone else about property deals. Within the hour, we were talking to vendors, agents, and negotiating deals. He taught me everything I need to know, so I can go away and find good deals which will sell for good money. He even sells the deals for me on his property app, and we JV on the fee. His team are also very good to work with when selling the deal and arranging viewings, etc. Very professional. He did warn me before I went to train with him that he was going to kick my backside and push me, and that's exactly what he did. He pushed me right out of my comfort zone, which I'm very thankful for. That day, we found a great deal and Arsh put it out to his investors. Since then, in the last 2 weeks, I've found around 8 great deals which are selling through the Property Investor app. Now, I'm really excited about my property journey and really looking forward to working with Arsh and his team. Now, the reason why I say that is, and the reason why I brought Craig up, is because Craig was what I would consider a one-trick pony, and in the nicest possible way. He was only looking for below market value deals. Someone actually offered him a lease option deal, and because he thought, oh no, I don't fancy a lease option myself, he actually let it go, and the vendor went and found someone else. Someone actually took advantage of Craig's inability to take on that deal. Now, as a result of that, I sat down with Craig, I removed all the blockages that he had about deals, and now he decided that he's going to monetize every lead that he's come across. And within the last 2 weeks, he has negotiated 8 deals with estate agents all over the country. And he has done this without visiting a single one of them. And as a result, it's taken him approximately 20 to 30 minutes per property. And I'm going to go through these deals with you. So I'm going to say, don't judge me on my success. I make this look too easy, but judge me on the success of my students and judge me on my ability to help you transform the quality of your life. So here's some of the properties that you would have seen on the Property Investor app that are all Craig's deals. So we've got a property in Worksop. So I should actually comment that Craig is actually based in the West Midlands. He's based in Walsall at the West Midlands. So we've got properties in Worksop, which is out towards Nottinghamshire. We've got properties in Luton. We've got properties in Hull. We've got properties in Walsall in his back door. We've got property in Burnley. We've got property in Boston, plus a few others. Now, Craig has negotiated all these deals. There's one that he's done direct to vendor. All the others have all been from agents, and all he has done is that he spoke to the agent. He's told them what he is all about. More importantly, he's told them how a working relationship could be formed with the estate agent and Craig, and more importantly, how it can become a real win-win. And the best thing is, all these leads have not cost him a penny. And I'm glad to say that all of these deals all have reservations on. So when we talk about reservation, we're talking about the finder's fee. So this bottom right-hand corner on each deal, 4,000 plus VAT, 3,000 plus VAT, 10,000 plus VAT, 3,000 plus VAT, 8,000 plus VAT, 3,000 plus VAT. If you start to tally up these fees, they can become quite an amount of money. And this is money that he's making from simply facilitating the sale of a property, but by looking at it through a different angle, an angle that he didn't know he existed until he started to come work with me. Now, the reason why I'm doing part of this session is that I'm going to be doing a Q&A session in a second. The reason why I'm doing this session as well, because I'm actually doing a 2-day online workshop that I've created brand new content for, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've done with Craig, and I'm going to put it in a format where you literally have to simply replicate. I'm going to have Craig with me on the day, and he's going to be showing you the steps that I've taken with him, which have allowed him now to remove the blockage in his previous thought process, and also increase his, let's say, his confidence with working with agents, and now going to the point where it's given him the skills and the confidence to start making property cash flow the very next day. So on the bootcamp, the things that I cover is all the different ways to source all different types of deals. Remember, in this session, I've only spoke about direct to vendor, I've spoke about tradespeople, and I've briefly touched on estate agents. There's so many other different ways to source deals. You should never be in a position where you're not able to look or find a deal. I'll also be talking about the different types of deals that you can trade. Remember, we've got below market value, we've got rent to rent, we've got lease option, we've got commercial deals, we've got land deals. They're just 5 of them. I could add more. I'm also going to be giving away my deal analysis spreadsheet, which allows you to look for discounts, cash flow, and development. I'll also be giving you my negotiation secrets, but more importantly, how to win over the estate agent so that they can work with you, so that they'll be giving you deal after deal after deal. And then finally, the key thing I think that Craig found was the cash flow calculator that I've created. So I've got a spreadsheet which I consider the cash flow calculator, and all Craig has to put in realistically is the purchase price and the rental figures, and the calculator calculates is that a deal or not. Plus you get a recording of the entire event, and after you get support from the event from me, where we'll be in a private WhatsApp group, and you can also have mini call sessions. So you can book some 10-minute call sessions after the event. I've broken down the workshop into 8 kind of areas. So we've got the overview, we've got the economics, we've got the analysis, types of deals, negotiation, list building, and selling. Now, remember what I said, I'm going to make it even easier, because for those that come on the workshop, you can actually sell your deals through the Property Investor app. So in essence, all you have to do is spend a little bit of time finding the deal. And by me showing you how to find the deal, in actual fact, you're going to find deals that you didn't know existed. So here's some of the resources that I'm going to give you to appraise properties. So I'm going to give you a below market value deal analysis spreadsheet. I'm going to give you a rent to rent analysis spreadsheet. I'm going to give you a lease option analysis spreadsheet, HMO deal analysis spreadsheet. I'm going to give you the lockout agreement, which gets you exclusivity to the deal. I'm going to give you a property introduction agreement. Now, the property introduction agreement is a really powerful document that not many people know about. I've used this agreement recently to control a property where we've done a deal with the vendor, and I'm going to walk away with £90,000 from one transaction. That's a completely different strategy, but you will have that document, and I will show you exactly how I've done that on multiple deals using that one document alone. I can give you the examples of proven leaflet templates, proven posters, but all of the marketing tactics and strategies that I use today don't cost a single penny. So it means that it's going to cost you nothing to get started other than working with coming on the workshop. And again, we've got the ultimate vendor strategies. So I'm running this as a 2-day live stream event. So it's going to be a Zoom session where you can live stream it from the comfort of your own home, and you can purchase the recording. So for those that can't make the workshop, you can actually purchase the recording, which comes with all the associated documents. And the cost of the workshop is $997, and it is on the 4th and 5th of December. So that is next weekend. I appreciate it's short notice. However, if you can't make it, the one thing that I am offering is the ability to have access to my previous workshop that I did last year, plus the recording of this year's session, as well as follow-up calls, so that if there's any comments or if there's anything that you're not aware of or not sure of, that we will fill all those gaps. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want more testimonials from people like Craig and yourself, stories that will inspire other people with no previous property experience to transform their life with property cash flow. So providing that you're willing to share your property success in a written or video testimonial, then you can save yourself £1,000. Now, more importantly, I'm very much known for a person to be hands-on. So I'm going to be the person that is going to be able to kick you up the backside. So when I say kick you up the backside, I say it in the nicest possible way, but it's going to be there to motivate you, to get you working, to get you moving, and more importantly, pushing you out of your comfort zone, because this is where the deals get done. The session is designed to help you succeed. The session will give you the deal flow to achieve your financial dreams and your cash flow goals. So it is on the 4th and 5th of December. We've got a little link at the bottom. What I will do is I will actually just copy this link, and I'm going to put it in the chat at the bottom. Let me just quickly, if I put it in the chat, so literally you can copy that and it will take you straight there. Now, as I quickly go through this, then we're going to do a massive Q&A session, by the way. So dates are the 4th and 5th of December. It's $997 per person. If you are coming with a business partner, I'm happy to allow you to bring that business partner for free. Got no issue with that. You can live stream it from the comfort of your own home, and it's 9 AM to 5 PM on both days. Now, I'm so confident that what I put together is better than anything else out there. I'm going to give you 100% money back guarantee, which means that if you attend the first day of the course and you're not completely satisfied, all you have to do is say so, and I'll give you a full refund. Here's some of the kind of things that I hear on a day-to-day basis. So people will say to me, it won't work in my area. Now, remember, going back to my analogy of sea, pond and sea, what makes you think that you have to stick in your area? What makes you think that you have to stick? So if someone give me an area, why? What makes you think that you have to stick to your area? More important, okay, if you're looking to invest for yourself, I completely get why you want to stick to your area. But more importantly, if you're not looking to buy the property yourself, why limit yourself to just your location? What makes you think that you can't source property just because it's a couple of hours drive away? Remember, my database of on the Property Investor app is 35,000 people. Not all 35,000 people want to invest in Wolverhampton. So that means that I need stock in areas like Hull, Scotland, Bournemouth, Cornwall, you name it, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Bristol, Cardiff, Wales, you name it. I need stock in all these locations. That's why I need to train you guys as phenomenal deal sourcers so that you can sell your stock to my investors. So here's another guy, Nick. I've just kept it brief with him. Deal trading is the perfect strategy for me, as I'm able to keep the best deals for myself and monetize those that are out of my area. That's Nick Swells, based in Hull. And remember, you don't need to travel because you can live stream the whole thing from the comfort of your own home. You can ask questions all throughout the day, and I'll answer them throughout the day, just like if you were in the room. We'll also be looking for property deals together on the event. More importantly, I'll be making live calls on the event so that you can see how easy, and the aim is to get each of you to do a deal on the day. Again, it's the 4th and 5th of December, and the price is $997, and it is live streamed so that you get the full session and you get the full recording. Now, another excuse that I sometimes hear, I don't have enough time. If you can sacrifice, let's say an hour a day, or let's say a couple of hours a week, you have the ability to build yourself a very decent business. You decide how many deals you want to do, whether you want to do 1 a month, you want to start with 1 a month, you want to start with 6 a year or 12 a year, completely up to you. The more time you put into it, the way that I describe this is the more time you allocate to it, the better you will become at it. The better you will become at it, the greater the results. The greater results, the more money you make. And it really is as simple as that. When you follow a proven system, you don't waste any time because the system has already proven to work. So therefore, every minute is highly productive, highly effective use of your time that gives you results almost overnight. Now, someone says, I don't have any previous experience. And believe it or not, that's cool. You know, that's fine. All you need to do is follow the system with consistent action. And I say that because I don't want someone to start it today and then give up within 2 weeks because it's not working for them. You know, when you learn to drive, did you stop after 3 lessons because you didn't think you were good at it? No, you carried on, and you carried on with the course of the lessons, and you passed your test, and now you're a great driver. And this goes for whatever you do in life, whether, you know, whatever role you've got right now, you weren't there just because you were good at it from the very start. No one is ever any good at anything from the outset. But more importantly, it's about following the system. I've created the system. All you have to do is follow it. It's literally in a flowchart form. In the flowchart, on the workshop, I give a flowchart which you literally follow it step by step and you can't get it wrong. You make a call, you speak to the person, you tell them how you can benefit, how they can benefit, how you can work together. You present it to the investor likes it, they pay their fee. It really is as simple as that. So other excuses, I don't have a buyer. You don't need a buyer, because when you come on the workshop, you're going to JV with me and we're going to sell the deal to my database. So you let me take care of the rest of that. I'll show you how it's done on the workshop, but then over time, you build your own database. You don't always have to JV with me. Other excuses, I can't negotiate with vendors. Can't or don't want to. I'll show you exactly how to do this. So I'll be making live calls on the session, on the day, and we'll practice this on the workshop. So you can do it. So when you do it for the real first time, it'll actually be your 10th time. And don't worry about getting it wrong, because believe it or not, there's lots of agents out there. There's lots of deals to be done. There's lots of vendors to be done. There's lots and lots of information. There's loads. I'm just trying to make it sound as easy as possible, because believe it or not, it really is. If you sort all your deals through estate agents, you won't need to pay any money for marketing. You won't need to pay any money to sell your deals. And I'll show you exactly how to succeed and give you the scripts. All you've got to do is you just have to be willing to try. Now, other person says, am I going to lose money? What do you have to lose? You won't lose money because by making a mistake, because you're not buying the property. You will lose money by being paralyzed by fear, but you'll only lose money by not taking action. So you're not buying the property, so it's not going to cost you any money. You're not paying for advertising, so it's not going to cost you any money. The only thing that's going to cost you money is if you don't do it, because in actual fact, you're passing up money, you're passing deals. And someone says, is deal trading really right for me? If you're smart, you're hungry and you're motivated, then this is for everyone. If you want property cash flow to transform the quality of your life, then yes, this is for you. If you're looking for the fastest way to turn hard work into cash, then this is for you. And again, it's covered by my money back guarantee. So if you come on the 4th and 5th and you don't like it after the first day, you're 100% guaranteed to get your money back. So I suppose my question to you is, with all this support and help, how can you simply fail? So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to pretty much go through a Q&A. So Sadie says, are there any legal requirements to become a deal sourcer? Yes, so part of the workshop is that we're going to be talking about compliance. Now, compliance is not sexy. It's actually quite boring. I don't mind saying that, but there are things that you will need to put in place. But the good thing that I'll say to you is that if you follow my process, you don't actually need to become compliant straight away. Because if you're selling your deals to my database, I need to be compliant. You don't. So again, I'm saving you money there. If you're not actively marketing for deals, then you don't need to be compliant. Does that make sense? So, okay, so Harry says, whereabouts in the country was Craig based? So Craig was based in the West Midlands, but all of his deals that he's done have been everywhere but the West Midlands, believe it or not. So he's done whole. Okay. Okay, so Phil says, I find it difficult to work with estate agents. Now, Phil, believe it or not, working with estate agents is not actually that hard. There's something that you're saying that they're not resonating with, or they're not thinking, oh, I want to work with Phil. So what I would love, the opportunity, is for you to come on this workshop and almost you tell me what you're saying and let me break it down and let me understand what is it that they think you're saying and what you should be saying to them. And let's break this for you in a step-by-step process. Okay, so okay, so let's have a quick look. I've been doing it really okay. So Lacadia says, I've been doing it religiously for 6 months, not got any properties, direct mail. Now, okay, Lacadia, remember what I said to you, what I said, and this is a perfect example, that direct mail is a great strategy, but there's lots of things that lots of people don't tell you about direct mail. And I'll spell this out for you now. Now, I'm going to ask you all collectively a question. How many letters do you get every day? Okay. How many of those do you actually read? And we could ask the same question about emails. How many emails do you get and how many do you actually read? And as soon as I come home every day, I get a pile of letters. And chances are that I probably read 1 out of 10. So there's a chance are that your letters are probably falling on the right doorsteps. So there's a couple of things that we need to look at. We need to look at where you're writing your letters, where are you getting your data from, how reliable is that data. We need to look at the letter, we need to look at the structure of the letter, what are you putting in the letter. We also need to look at the tone of the letter, how much information are you putting in, how much information are you putting about your company. There's so many things, and the one thing I don't like about letters is that you're limited with the amount of information that you can put on one piece of A4. And I say that with the best of respect, because one piece of A4 is approximately 900 characters. I couldn't describe everything that I do within one side of A4. I would probably need a mini book. But then, what's the chances of them reading that? Slim to none again. So that's why I stopped doing direct email letters. Okay, so can you tell the best deal sourcer in London? Why do they need to be in London? Why does the deal sourcer need to be in London? Okay, so I'll tell you who the best deal sourcer is in the UK. You're listening to him. And I say that with the best of respect and without any, without me being best way to say it, I'll say that confidently, but not cockinously. Cockinously? I don't think that's a word anyway. And the reason why I say that is because the person who is the most strategic will be the most successful. And my strategy, my credentials talk for itself. We do over 500 deals a year. And so they don't need to be in London, and deal sourcer can be anywhere, not only even in the country, but in the world. Okay. Okay, so Vincent says, Arsh, when you source through agents, does that also include letting agents as well, who may also have reluctant landlords? Absolutely. So it doesn't necessarily just mean estate agents, it can be estate agents, letting agents, auction companies, just to name a few. So Andrew said, ex-postman, about 1 in 300 is really read seriously. Absolutely, Andrew. Thank you very much for clarifying that. So about 1 in 300 is really read seriously. Okay, so do you need to be compliant before you start posting and selling a deal on the app? No, you don't, because the app is compliant. So therefore, our purchasers, our investors are buying from the app. They're not buying from you. So therefore, it's the app that needs to be compliant, not you guys. Okay, so Amanda says, private, apologies, I've just read that. How much is a one-to-one with you? Arsh, my son and I just started our journey. We're fully compliant. So Amanda, you can come and spend a one-to-one day, with me, and the cost is £1,500 plus VAT. If you wanted to do that, I would prefer that you both came on the workshop on the weekend, where both of you can come for the cost of £997. I've got no issue with that, Amanda. And off the back of that, you're going to get to learn everything that you need to know, you and your son. Okay, so I'm already joined. I have a property in London for sale. It's with an agent. I can upload it, but I have the property details and photos, descriptions. I have no experience in breakdown investment deals. Can I still upload with that? Trevor, yes, you can. So if you've got any details on the deal, Trevor, you can upload it directly onto the app. So Oliver says, what's your percentage on the JV? So with all the deals that people bring me, we work on a very straightforward 50-50 split. So 50% for you, 50% for the property investor app. And the reason being is that you're bringing the deal to the table, we're bringing the buyer to the table. Does that make sense? Is there any other questions? Okay, so Phil says, I did, but no reply. Of course, they might not live at the address anymore. So again, there's lots of reasons why your letters were not read. Okay, so Phil says, if we find deals and send them to you to trade, do you have the method or document to enable us to do that? So I only provide my documents, my spreadsheets, and my know-how to those that come on the workshop. If you want to bring your deal to us and you've not come on the workshop, we will look at it, but we will not appraise it. We'll simply say yes or no to it. Does that make sense, Phil? We're committed to working with the guys. Okay, so say he says, when working with an estate agent, is it just finding the property and talking to them before coming to you? So say there's a little bit more to it than that. You know, the last thing I want you to do is literally send me a deal and just say, here's a Rightmove link, because that's not a deal. We need to go through a bit of a process. When I say we need to go through a bit of a process, so we need to just do a bit of research behind it. We need to do some cash flow analysis. We need to have a look at the vision behind it. So I'll be showing you how to do all this. And the first time that you do it, it may take you approximately an hour to do, and that's okay. But the aim is that once you become more familiar with this and comfortable with this, in actual fact, you're going to be able to do these within 10 to 15 minutes each deal. So, okay, so let's go. How long does it take to become compliant as a deal sourcer? So, in actual fact, you can become compliant within a day. So, there's things that you need to do. You need to be a member of the PRS, Property Redress Scheme. You can do that online within 10 minutes. You need to set up an account with the ICO, the Information Commissions Officer. Again, that can be done online. You do need to get some insurance policies in place for public indemnity insurance and private insurance. That will take approximately a day. And then there's anti-money laundering regulations, AMLR. So again, that's an application that you can do online. It takes approximately an hour, and you can pay your fee there and then. So there, pretty much, you've got everything in place to be done. I think all in all, it costs about £800 a year to become fully compliant. And I have to reiterate that you don't need to be compliant if you're going to sell the deal through the Property Investor app, because if you're working with an estate agent, the client of the estate agent will be the vendor, so they're covered there, and the purchaser of the deal will be the Property Investor app's client, so we're covered here. So again, do you okay, so Oliver says, do you have dedicated contact deals where deals can be sent to? So I'm going to quickly put up this. Here we go. So let me just quickly do this. So you can send it to Arsh@𝐅𝐑𝐄𝐄 if you want. I prefer that you send them to deals@propertyinvestorapp.co.uk. Okay, so Vincent says, does the agent need to agree exclusivity by taking the listing before it goes down on the app? There are ways that we can get around it, Vincent, and one of the things that we'll be talking about on the workshop is being able to agree the exclusivity, negotiate the exclusivity, and work with the agent so it's a win-win available. So say it says, I won't be available to attend. How much is the workshop recording and documents? So the workshop recording and documents is the $997, and it's the same cost as it would if you were attending. But remember, you get the recording, you get all the associated documents, plus the follow-up call to make sure that you understand everything. So is that co-sourcing though? Will that will affect compliance? In essence, you could say that you're co-sourcing, but because we're dealing with the purchaser, and the estate agent in essence is dealing with the vendor. In actual fact, Phil, you're not actually appearing on any of the paperwork. So yes, you could say that it is. So so I think I've pretty much answered all the questions. So is there any questions that anyone else has got around sourcing? Anyone's got any questions around what sourcing actually does and what they want to achieve? Are there people that still on this webinar that believe that they can't do this and they've got some questions surrounding that? Okay, so I can't attend in person. When I'm online, can I ask questions? So yes, absolutely. So so just so you know, this is a full-on day, a full-on 2 days, 4th and 5th. Let me just quickly get that. Where is that? So the 4th and 5th of December. So if you're online, yes, you can ask as many questions. If you've got questions thereafter, we've got a support WhatsApp group as well, so you can ask as many questions, and I'll be in there to answer all the questions as well. Let me just have a quick look. So I've answered that question. Okay, right. I think I've answered all the questions. So what I will do, guys, again, I'll put the link in the chat. Feel free to click onto that link, and that's going to take you directly to a page that looks a little bit like this. So it's going to take you to a page called Deal Trading Masterclass. It's on the 4th and 5th of December. Price is $9.97 per person. If you're coming with a guest, you only pay for the one person, don't pay for two. And then that will take you through. So Amanda says, do we get continual support thereafter after the event? Yes, you will. So again, I'll put you into a WhatsApp group, which will be with me personally. If you've got any questions, we'll also book 10-minute calls, preferably during the day. But if there are a few that need to be done in the evening, I can do that. Or we could do a mini group session in the evening if that helps. Okay, so Bu says, I want to build my own rent-to-rent portfolio, but will source deals that don't fit my requirements. Will the workshop still be worthwhile? Absolutely. Remember, going back to the point, one-trick pony, you don't want to be that one-trick pony. So yes, you want to source rent-to-rent deals, and you'll come across deals that you think, oh, I want to keep for myself. And then there'll be other deals that you think, I like it, but it's not just right for me. So therefore, I'm going to sell it on to other investors. And again, go back to the property investor app. There's deals, there's rent-to-rent deals, there's lease option deals, service accommodation deals, we've got below market value deals, we've got commercial to residential, we've got land deals, we've got industrial deals, we've got hotel deals. So there's a real mix of properties. Okay, so Ruth said, I've WhatsApped you. Okay. Okay, brilliant. So yes, Ruth, that's fine. That's fine. So if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. So anyone that comes on this workshop has my personal mobile number, and then off the back of that, we then just get you moving forward. There's no reason why you can't succeed at this. So I suppose on that note, I'll leave you with saying thank you for taking the time to learn how to replace your salary with property cash flow without deposit or without any of your own savings, without any previous property experience, whilst juggling a full-time job when you trade deals. I hope you can now see how anyone can get quick results when they follow a proven strategy with consistent action. And if you still have any unanswered questions, it would be great to hear from you directly. So feel free to give me a call. How many people do you know, how many training companies do you know will give out their personal mobile number? Not very many, if any. So that shows that I'm committed to working with you directly. So yes, you from time to time you may speak to my PA, but you can speak to me at any time. As well as that, you can email me, arsh@@@@@@@@@. I'm more than happy to assist. But on that note, guys, as always, I wish you all to be safe, well, and happy. And I look forward to seeing you all and speaking to you all on the 4th and 5th of December. Take care, thank you, and bye-bye.